In this video, we're going to talk about the distributive property. The function that we use when we use the distributive property will always be multiplication. You'll be placed with a situation like you have over my left shoulder here of A times the quantity B minus C, or B plus C, or the A times something within the parentheses, okay? The A is referred to as our coefficient, okay? The A is the coefficient, and obviously this is an expression within the parentheses. We use our distributive property to multiply by everything within the parentheses. So we have A times B, which is AB, and minus, the function moves down, A times C, which gives me AC. Now I cannot combine those two terms because the variables have to match perfectly, okay? The variables A and B, and this one's A and C. Yes, they both have an A, but it would have to be AB minus AB. And I'll show you an example of that one here in just a minute. So we look at several of these, and this part right here we're going to talk about is just to simplify. It's not an equation, it's just an expression. We're going to put it in its absolute simplest form. So we have a coefficient, the 3, out in front of a set of parentheses, which has x plus 2. So we're going to distribute through multiplication 3 times the x. So that's going to give me 3 times the x plus the 3 times the 2. So the 3 times the x gives me 3x plus 3 times 2, which is going to give me 6. And that's going to be my final answer. I cannot combine the 3x and the 6 because there's an x with the first term and there is no x with the second term, okay? So let's look at our second example. 4 is our coefficient times the quantity 2x minus 6. So we're going to distribute the 4 to everything within the parentheses. I can't stress that enough. That's the biggest mistake that is typically made, is to only multiply by part of what is in the parentheses. You must multiply by everything within the parentheses. So this gives me 4 times 2x minus 4 times 6. 4 times the 2x, 4 times 2x, 4 times the 6, 4 times the 6. Subtraction moves along. 4 times 2x gives me 8x minus 4 times 6, which is 24. Our next one, 5 is our coefficient, and then we now have 3 terms within the parentheses, 4x plus 3y plus 6. So we're going to have to distribute it to everything within parentheses, not just the things with variables, but every term within the parentheses. So we have 5 times 4x plus 5 times 3y plus 5 times 6. So that gives me an opportunity to have 3 different terms. So our 5, excuse me, 5 times 4x is going to give me 20x plus 5 times 3y, which is going to give me 15y, plus the 5 times 6, which is going to give me the 30. Now that has an x in it, that has a y in it. They're not the same variable, so I cannot combine them, so that becomes my final answer. And in our last example on the simplify side, 7 times the quantity of 2x plus 3. Again, distributing the 7 to every term within the parentheses. Call it your rainbows, call it your arches, call it your arrows, whatever you want to call it, to make sure that you do those. Putting the arrows in there may help you keep things organized in order for you to be able to complete what you need to do. 7 times the 2x plus 7 times the 3. 7 times 2x gives me 14x plus 7 times 3, which is 21. Gives me my final answer. Again, that one's got an x, that one does not have an x, so I cannot combine them. So now we take this to the next level. We're going to have 3 equations over here that are going to have distribution in them, and they're going to ask you to solve the equation for the variable. Now, we've solved many equations like this. These are all going to be simple 2-step equations. Distribute, or actually this is where it becomes multi-step equations, because we're going to distribute We're going to get rid of the term without the variable, and then we're going to get rid of the coefficient for the variable. So as we look at our first example, 3 times the quantity 4x minus 3 equals 27. We're going to distribute the 3 times the 4 and the minus 3. So 3 times 4x minus 3 times 3 equals 27. Obviously, I didn't do anything on the right-hand side, so it stays. 3 times 4x gives me 12x minus 9. 3 times 3 is 9 equals 27. So we've seen equations like this in our two-step equations with multiplication and subtraction. So the first thing we do, this is the term with the variable in it. I want to isolate it. I get rid of everything that's not in that protective force field circle. So I'm going to add 9 to both sides. So that gives me 12x equals 27 plus 9, which gives me 36. I'm going to rewrite it over here. So I got 12x equals 36. That's the variable I want to solve for. It's the x. It is being multiplied by 12, so we have to undo that by dividing by 12. We divide by 12 on both sides. Those cancel. X equals 3. Okay, so that we used our distributive property, then we isolate the term with the variable in it, and then we isolate the variable itself. Those are our 3 steps as we work our way towards it. So again, looking at our next example, we're going to distribute the 2 first. 2 times x plus the 2 times the 4 equals the 16. That's there. Again, didn't touch the right-hand side, left it alone. So 2 times x is 2x plus 2 times 4, which is 8, equals 16. There's the term with the variable in it. So I have to subtract 8. Opposite function, same number. Opposite function, those cancel. 2x equals 16 minus 8, which is 8. Again, I'm going to rewrite it over here. So I got 2x equals 8. That's my variable. In order to get the variable by itself, which is what I want, I have to divide by 2 on both sides. X equals 4. Those cancel. Okay? In our last example here, we're going to distribute the numbers. Are going to get a little bit bigger. Okay, we're going to distribute the 6. So I get 6 times 3x minus 6 times 2 equals 24. 6 times 3x gives me 18x minus 6 times 2, which is 12, equals 24. That's the term with the variable in it. Got to get rid of everything on that side that's not in the circle. So plus 12 plus 12. Opposite of the subtraction, that's the reason we're adding. Those will cancel. 18x equals 24 plus 12, which will give me 36. Okay, so I'm going to rewrite it over here just like I do to give us some space. 18x equals 36. That's my variable. It's being multiplied by 18, so I need to divide by 18 on both sides. Cancel there. X equals 2 is my final answer. So remember, when in the distributive property, you're using multiplication to every term within the parentheses. Not just 1, not just 2, everything within the parentheses. Then you'll follow your steps in order to do that, to solve your 2-step equations like we've done before. Isolate the term of the variable in it, isolate the variable itself, utilizing our opposite function, same number. Thank you.